Hola.
Hola.
Hello, hello.
Hi. How are you?
Good.
Hi, Christina. How's it going?
It's going well. How about you?
Good.
Very well.
Hello, matey. How are you?
Hello, my friend. Oh, you've got a copy of CLANES just in the corner there.
And I've
Very
got
nice.
a special surprise for you. We just got it from the
Yeah, Tierra de Clans. Wow, that looks great.
And I
Yeah.
love I love it in Spanish. The Tierra
Yeah.
de Clanes.
Yes, that's it.
Clanes?
Tierra de Clanes.
That's
Tierra de Clans.
wonderful. I'm sorry that my room is very
It's
bright.
The
perfect.
lighting is terrible.
It is. It's shocking. It's
Yeah.
shocking. Wonder where I can sit. That's better. I don't know. Well, yeah, maybe if I angle myself this way.
Hmm.
Sorry, Sam's very professional at these things.
He's used to it, right?
He is.
Yeah, we've done enough of them, haven't we?
Yes, he has his special.
Also, we have another surprise. This is the poster that we printed.
Oh,
That's
so
great.
cool.
It looks amazing, right?
Wow.
That is
That's
really cool.
And
So that's on the inside?
yes, exactly. So this is
That's amazing.
jacket.
It's great.
And this is the hardcover. So
Ah.
this goes like this, and then you have the poster. So it would be like a nice surprise for your fans.
That's
That's
great.
a really cool idea, isn't it? I like that.
It is.
I think this will be a great treat for them since they can see you and have the book signed. So we're really grateful that you did this for the Spanish edition. So thank you very much. Really grateful.
No, thank you. Yeah, that's a great idea. I love that.
Wow.
Okay, so first of all, thank you again for being here with us and taking the time to film this interview. I'm sure that your fans will really appreciate it for you to take this time. We're really happy to be publishing Tierra de Clanes in Spain and Latin America. It will be out really, really soon. Probably it will be out when this video comes up on the internet. It's such an amazing book. I've really loved it. Yes, it's amazing. Really funny, filled with history, friendship, funny anecdotes, and obviously Scotland, which is actually, it's a place I've never been to, and you've made me travel to that country. So thank you for that. I'm sure the fans will really appreciate it. And so before starting with the interviews, we've gathered a few questions from your fans from Instagram and Twitter. I hope that's okay. So the first one is, what will readers find in CLANES?
I think you answered the question. I think if you've never been, firstly, to Scotland, you'll get an insight into the amazing history and culture that we have here. But also, I think you might see a friendship, a great friendship.
Yes, indeed. Yes, you'll be inspired, hopefully inspired to take your own journey through Scotland, using not necessarily using the book as a guide, but using it as a sort of launching pad for your own adventure. And yeah, friendship, absolutely, for sure. And my fear, my fear.
Yeah, if you
any moments of fear.
If you it might inspire people to sort of take someone on a trip and then spend the time scaring them or
torturing them.
Yes. So it's basically a guide in how to torture your friend.
Exactly. Find a friend who's older than you, that you know is uncomfortable in certain situations, and then insist on putting them in those situations. Yes.
So, I'm guessing that's what he did.
Oh yes, but in a really lovely way.
Yeah, of course.
And actually, joking aside, the wonderful thing about the book, and hopefully this will also be something that your readers will discover, is that having an experience like this takes you out of your comfort zone, and that is a good thing.
Okay. And how did you guys come up with the idea of this book? Because we know that this project was going to be a series of podcasts in the beginning, but it has become really quickly a best-selling book where it has been published, and also a documentary series. So how did this happen?
I know. I ask myself that question sometimes.
How did you find yourself in a camper van with me driving around Scotland?
Well, I don't know about you, Sam, but I often find that some of the most enjoyable things you end up doing in your life are the ones that you've done the least planning for.
Yeah.
And I would say that most of what you've just described was quite spontaneous, really. The filming, the writing, it all happened really quite quickly, didn't it, mate? It was.
Yeah. We were obviously going out to shoot the TV show, or our idea of a TV show, because we hadn't even sold it then. And I think at the same time, I think we were in London together, and I'd been speaking to my writing agent, and we were like, well, I wonder if this could work as a book. And we didn't really even know quite how the book would turn out, or we had a rough idea. But then when we were writing the book in lockdown, we were both writing simultaneously online, and it sort of became this conversation, or dare I say an argument, because I could see him writing, and then I was like, no, that's not how it happened.
That's not what happened at all.
No, rubbish. And then he would see what I was writing and also comment on it. And so it became this back and forth. And I think, very organic, as Graham says. And it didn't really have a full structure when we first started out. And I think that's kind of the beauty of it, that it is quite organic.
Yeah. And the same with the TV show, I would say as well. That's how we approached that too. And
are you planning now to do the series of podcasts as well? Or is that just
Well, we've done the audiobook
yes,
which was also good fun, because we also kind of made it up, some of it. No, it was
we interrupted.
It was off script.
Yeah.
Okay.
We were like an old married couple.
I think we can see, and the readers will agree with me, that we can see this in the book.
Yeah. A dysfunctional couple.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So in the book, you travel all around Scotland. There's lots of places and famous locations. And in your opinion, what's the most magical location in Scotland?
Oh,
what do you think, mate? Where did you?
Oh, it's so hard. I mean, I always say Culloden for a little, to some degree, because it's very moving, and it really is very powerful when you go there. But I mean, that's not a beautiful location.
No, it's the opposite.
It's bleak and forbidding, and it really stops you in your tracks, actually. But beauty, there's just too many to choose from. Goodness me. There were moments in the camper van when we would crest a hill and we would suddenly see this view in front of us, and it really was quite breathtaking. And that happened over and over and over again, actually. But I'm trying to think.
The castles, obviously we've got so many castles in Scotland, and they're beautiful. On Cawdor Castle, we talk about in the book, and that's
it's like a fairy
castle.
Tale. Yeah,
it is. It's like out of a sort of TV show or something. It's so intriguing. But for me, and we didn't really talk about it in the book much, but going to the islands. I love going to the islands, and they're so beautiful. And you get on a boat and you just visit these incredible places, and they have their own kind of history, as opposed to the north of Scotland, or even the south of Scotland, which has its own history again. So there's so much to explore. It's
a rich and varied land for somewhere so comparatively small.
Graham also likes the restaurants. Those are his beautiful places.
They were beautiful places. They really were. Yes, that's true.
You didn't cook that much during the trip, right?
I wouldn't say that we did a lot of cooking. Would you?
I made you breakfast. I made you some porridge.
Yes, you did. Yes, actually, and your porridge was really good.
I'm surprised by that.
It was very thick.
Yeah,
it was very thick. But
there were extra ingredients in there that I didn't really mean to put in.
Tell me what they are.
No.
Okay, and now if you had to describe Scotland in 3 words, which ones will you use?
Epic.
Yeah.
Ancient.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Epic. Ancient.
And midges.
Midges. Yes. The biting insects.
For me, those are my 3.
Epic, ancient, and midges. I would say evocative, emotional, and thought-provoking.
Okay,
Oh.
those are very beautiful words.
Very good.
And
So it is
so
very
not whiskey.
interesting.
Well,
No, we didn't mention whiskey.
If you drink enough whiskey, then you come up with all these words, like it's thought-provoking and evocative and epic. But really, you don't even have to leave. You just sit inside the camper van with whiskey. Yeah.
And if you could travel back in time, what moment of the history of Scotland would you like to live or experience?
I personally would like to go see Elan Castle, which is this very famous castle that was rebuilt in 1918 after the First World War. But going back to 1740, 1747 or 1745, during the rebellion, there was a Spanish garrison that were sent there. And it's little known history, but these poor Spaniards were in Scotland, part of the Jacobite rebellion, and they were housed there. And then they were attacked by the British, by these British galleons, and pretty much blown to smithereens by these cannon. But it's just incredible to think of all these Spanish, I guess, alliances with the Jacobites. I think also wasn't the Battle of Glen Shiel as well. It was a big battle.
There were 200 Spaniards there at the battle.
And I feel for them. I feel for these Spaniards coming to Scotland when in the cold and the rain and the midges.
But I think the most extraordinary thing about that particular period, that episode, is that one of the Spaniards died of heat stroke in the week before the battle. Yes,
is that right?
In Scotland. I mean, he came from Spain, not known for its freezing cold weather, and he died of heat stroke in Scotland. I mean, talk about bad luck. You know.
I wonder though if he was Spanish or he was like a Scotsman pretending to be a Spaniard. And he had like ginger hair and white skin and
blue skin.
And he's like, español. Yeah. Spanish, español.
I'm right from Spain, me. Yes.
Yeah.
I think no one here knew about that.
No, I didn't know about it until very recently. Yes, it's absolutely astonishing.
And have you discovered something new about Scotland during this road trip?
I mean, it was, I would say, we went deep inside ourselves and learned about our own characters and learned about our relationship with ourselves and with each other, and also our relationship to Scotland. But really what I learned is that Graham doesn't like to pay for his hotel bills.
That is such a lie.
And I have to always pick up the tab.
Wow. I mean, it's extraordinary how this fiction that you've created for yourself is now something that you just really...
This is not fiction. This is fact.
No.
Everything in there is fact.
No, you never paid for my hotel bill. Lies. Absolute lies. I did learn that sheep in Scotland are much more aggressive than I ever imagined. They really, I mean, I've encountered sheep all over the world. I mean, I live in New Zealand, which is basically full of sheep. And New Zealand sheep are very passive. Scottish sheep are belligerent. They're just, they invite you to try and go past. It's like, come on. They're just not going to get out of the way. So we did spend a few hours every trip trying to negotiate the sheep. But
yeah, the wildlife in Scotland is quite aggressive.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you had some bad encounters with sheep during the road trip.
Yeah, it wasn't, I mean, we weren't savaged by them. That would be exaggerating. But they definitely weren't keen to let us pass.
They're like clans of sheep. They're quite aggressive actually, and they sort of watch you. Yeah, and they've got that dead eye thing as well, don't they? Where they just kind of stare at you.
Most sheep, if they hear a car, they'll just run away.
No, these sheep.
Scottish sheep just turn around and face you and just refuse to move.
What?
Do you think you're so tough in your car, eh?
Come on.
It's pretty sad. Yeah.
So aside from the sheep, which one would be the best memory you have from this trip?
The best memory?
Yes, or the funniest one.
Oh gosh.
Mm.
The best memory.
I mean, we would talk about when we were obviously going to go to Cordo Castle, and it's just it was funny and also awful. We were driving, we tried to get into the castle, and we had this big van, and for some reason we found ourselves on the course of the marathon race that day, and the runners were all running and we were driving in between them, and we got to the castle, and the gates of the castle obviously weren't built for a modern day camper van, so we got stuck in the gates, and the marathon runners couldn't get past, and then I blamed Graham, of course, because it was his fault, and the marathon runners, we were abused.
They weren't happy.
They were not very happy.
No, I always thought marathon runners were quite placid, kind of friendly people, but
they're scarier than the sheep, actually.
Yeah. They came out with things that made you blush. Really, it was pretty.
You're
shocking.
actually a marathon man yourself, Sam, right?
Yeah, I know. And I tried to. I was like, hey guys, I'm one of you. I'm a friend. But no, they were not happy about that.
No, Finn. Mine would have been, I think, Mons Bolin at Finladig Castle. He was a memorable individual with his two friends who were ex-members of the Black Watch Regiment. And they had this extraordinary, I mean, I remember the moment when we arrived, we looked in the barn. There was this kind of barn with an open front. And there was an armored personnel carrier with a Browning submachine gun on it. And why would you have one? And I remember Sam and I both noticing it at the same time. And he described it as one of his toys, and then proceeded to take us to an execution pit where people were beheaded. And so it was, he looked like Rutger Hauer. He looked like an absolute spitting image of Rutger Hauer. Yeah. And he was ex-Swedish Special Forces.
And I believe we left you in that pit, did we not?
You did, thank you,
yes.
Yes, I got into the pit, and then they walked off and left me. So I had to clamber out myself. But,
by yourself?
Yes.
Before he got beheaded, yes.
Yes, charming.
Yeah. And is there anything that you would have liked to do or visit during this road trip that you didn't manage to fit in your route?
Yes, I would say there's so much that we haven't hit on. I mean, we barely touched the surface. We tried to get in as so much as we could in this book and in the TV show, and really, we barely scratched the surface. There's so much of Scotland to discover. I think in the book, we really, we meet some amazing characters and we go to some great places. And I think also interesting, we also talk a lot about, our lives as actors as well, our personal lives. And I think, there's just, I guess, almost like everything that we've done as well, it kind of relates to this road trip. And I would love to do another one.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Sam's so right about the characters that you discover, and you realize that Scotland, I mean, not just Scotland, anywhere, you go on your own doorstep and there are just amazing characters waiting to be discovered. And we've met a few in Scotland, but there are so many more to encounter. And we never went to the very, very far north, for instance. We never went out to the Orkneys or the Shetlands. Love to do that, go right down to the south as well. And you think there are people that we've not met yet that would just be fabulous to encounter in those places.
So a lot of sheep to explore, isn't it?
Well, yes, true.
So are you planning maybe on doing an international tour, a CLANES international tour, maybe visiting other Scottish people all around the world, maybe in Spain? I don't know.
Spain, Mexico.
Yeah.
No, we'd love to. We really would. We really would love to. We would love to explore the Scottish stories abroad and also those connections. The 200 Spaniards that Sam refers to were from Galicia, which I guess makes sense because that's the sort of Celtic part of Spain, isn't it? And, that's a part of Spain that I've always wanted to visit, but personally.
You'll find lots of sheep, but also bagpipes there. So you probably will feel at home there.
The bagpipes, that's right.
Yeah, we might get on well. We should take the camper van there.
Yeah.
Well, yes, we should.
You're more than welcome.
Okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah, I'd love to. And as Sam says, there are lots of parts of the world that there are Scottish stories to tell and stories of their own. So, yeah.
And you could give the directions in the camper van in Spanish.
Yes.
In Spanish,
Yeah.
yes,
I will.
I would mangle that completely, but I'd give it a try.
So you visit lots of Outlander filming locations during the road trip, and you mentioned that you also visited the Culloden Memorial. What did you feel when you were there? Because it's such a, as you said, a breathtaking place. But how did you really feel?
I kind of felt, really, when you look at the land there, what they were fighting on, and especially the conditions that they were fighting in, it was, horizontal rain, fog, freezing. They hadn't slept. They were starving. Really, I suppose I felt the kind of hopelessness, actually, of what they were trying to achieve at that moment, and how that must have felt for them. That despite the fact that really the odds were against them, and that they were exhausted and starving, they still fought and charged and sacrificed themselves for a cause that they felt was nobler than themselves. And I think that's really quite remarkable. So I really took that away from it.
I think also, I think when you read the book and even watch the TV show, we build up to Culloden. I think, if you don't know anything about it, brilliant, excellent, that's fantastic, because it's so strange that this one battle had such a sort of big repercussions or shockwaves that went on through history for the Scottish people, but also for then obviously subsequent people moving to Australia or to the New World, to America and Canada. So it's strange that this one battle had such a big big repercussions on sort of history, I guess. And it's interesting that everywhere we went in the build up to it kind of related back. So we were talking to, whether it's clan chiefs, or we're talking to warriors, or learning about the weaponry or the language or the culture. You really get an insight into what was at stake at that battle, at the Battle of Culloden.
Yeah, and you as Sam says, you meet all the descendants of these clan chiefs that were around at the time. And they all had to make a very hard decision, which was, which side do we support? I mean, some clans were very canny and, and hedged their bets. So like a wife would support the Jacobite cause, for instance, and the husband would support the Hanoverian cause. But often you completely put all your money on black. It was just like the roll of the dice. It was like, no, we're all in. We're going to support the Jacobites, or we're going to support the government, and on that hinged the future of those clans, the future of the Highland people, and it was a pretty bleak future, as it turned out. And
also the end of a way of life. The end of the Scottish clan system, the end of the bagpipes and the tartan and all these sort of traditions, the oral language, the Gaelic, the speaking of Gaelic. It really did mark very much the end of a sort of an ancient time of Scotland and the beginning of a sort of new modern era, I guess, right?
When you think it was 1746 when that happened, and I think, I'm not exactly sure of the date, but I think it was around 1787 before the Highlanders were allowed again to use their tartan, their instruments, to live their lives. And I mean, it's always, one is tempted to compare it with what the world is going through at the moment. Say for instance, like lockdown, we're all going through lockdown. Imagine being part of a culture that was essentially locked down for 40 years. It was literally denied its existence.
Yeah, it's a good analogy. Yeah.
They couldn't go out and be themselves. They couldn't.
Yeah.
They couldn't be acknowledged as who they really were. They had to pretend. They had to change their names. They had to hide. They had to hide their dress, their instruments, and that it must have been so exhausting and sad. People dying during it who would never, who would think that they would never see that again. So yeah, it was pretty bad.
So you talk about history, you talk about nature, of course, but you also talk about food. And we've had some interest from your readers on Scottish cuisine. So could you maybe recommend us a few dishes apart from haggis? Please don't recommend those.
What do you mean?
Scotland has
haggis.
What do you mean we can't do haggis? Scotland has one of the best larders in the world. It's been described as by many of the chefs here, and it really is. You know, we have incredible seafood. I mean, 90% of our seafood goes primarily to Spain. You know, I have amazing langoustines, lobster, shellfish, crabs. You know, everything. We also have a great venison, incredible beef.
Yeah.
It really is a wonderful oyster. Yeah, I mean everything. It's people don't think of Scotland and great food, but it really does have some of the best produce.
Honestly, the best oysters I've ever had have been in Scotland.
So
yeah, absolutely have.
So yeah, much to explore.
Okay. Yeah. And regarding traditions, and this is something that our readers have asked a lot because they really want to know. Is it true that you don't really wear anything under your kilt?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You don't wear anything under your kilt?
What do you mean? You do? What?
Yeah.
What do you wear?
Another kilt.
No. The double kilt.
Double kilt. Double kilting for.
When it's on those very, very cold nights, when one kilt is just not enough, you put a double kilt on.
Or you can lend one. You can go to your travel companion.
That's right. You look like you need another kilt. Yes, the answer is no.
Okay. I'm guessing you're not wearing a kilt now, because that would
be not wearing anything. Yeah, from the waist down, completely naked.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's the only way to fly.
It's probably flying right now.
You talk about whiskey a lot, of course, especially you, Sam.
Yeah, Sam's the expert.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a chapter on whiskey. Actually, we talk about it a lot. We did a whiskey tasting. In fact, it was the first thing we did when we went on this road trip at 9 a.m. in the morning. I made Graham start as we meant to go on, and we were drinking cask strength whiskey, and it's interesting. We talk about in the book, you know, the different process of making whiskey and what it is, and it was, you know, it's part of our heritage, but it really is. It's our national drink as well, and fortunately, well, we didn't have to do much driving afterwards, which was
we didn't. But I think you described it very well actually the other day, Sam. You were talking about whiskey, and you're dead right that whiskey is different from other alcoholic drinks. In my view, it's not like, you know, no offense to any of these drinks, but it's not like vodka or gin or possibly tequila. I think may fall into this category, but there is something really bonding and special about sharing that with other people that I'd hesitate to say it was uniquely Scottish, but I would actually I kind of put tequila in with that. Actually, I think you can have that sort of experience with tequila.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And the same with wine. You know, I think, you know, I mean, it's like it's a living thing, right? It's you know, it's taking on board all of the characteristics of whatever barrel it's in and whatever the temperature is, and then also, as Graham said, you know, the people you share it with as well. It's a very social, I think, a social drink, unless you've had too much, and then it's very antisocial. But
it's a story, isn't it, as well, whiskey? You know, a glass of whiskey is a story. It has such a long lead up, many chapters to go through until you get to the final chapter of you drinking it. And it's kind of beautiful, I think, that way.
And now the next question is, how many bottles of whiskey were drunk during the road trip?
All of them. All the whiskey. We had spare whiskey hidden in the toilet of the camper van. Graham didn't know, but I kept a secret bottle in there, a very expensive bottle, just in case it got too much.
I was always absolutely amazed that wherever we were, wherever we were, up a mountain, on a bike, in a boat, Sam would always have a flask of whiskey, some secreted somewhere about his person. You know, like practically in a wetsuit, he'd managed to find, you'd find him whipping out a flask of whiskey. I'm like, really, how do you do this? But it was always welcome, always welcome. And he always had the good stuff. The
essential travel accessory, I think.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the questions that I was going to ask. Which thing would you have missed?
Oh, well, mine would be a flask of very, very good whiskey. What would yours be, Graham?
Oh,
your essential travel item.
A really good espresso machine. Yeah.
And a map. And a good map.
I love a map. Love a map.
You do. Yeah, it's just to keep him entertained. You don't actually use it.
Map. You can literally just sit me in the passenger seat and give me a map. I'll just sit there for hours just looking at it. It's because, you know, I don't want to sort of repeat the same point again, but a map tells a story as well. And it's very entertaining in the way that a GPS system doesn't tell a story. No, it's just a very boring voice telling you what to do. Whereas a map is wonderful. I think we should do a GPS. I think I'm going to record a GPS for the next thing with just really aggressive directions.
Your directions are terrible anyway.
Just
so
turn right.
You missed it.
You idiot!
Wrong way.
Are you deaf? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
good.
don't know if people would be if they would like to go on the road if they had that GPS. It's probably too scary. I don't know.
Yeah, they'd stop the car, right? They go back home.
They would. They'd pack up and leave.
You've spent a lot of time together during this road trip. So the next question is for Graham, actually. What is the best and the worst about traveling with Sam?
Oh, okay. Go on. Here we go.
I've been asked this question before, and it's actually very difficult. The best thing about Sam traveling is actually he truly is a very genial, even-tempered, fun guy to be around. He doesn't get into moods. He doesn't get grumpy. He doesn't get, because I do all that. He doesn't do, you know, he's just, it's very, very hard to get Sam pissed off. Or maybe he's just really good at hiding it. But so that is a delight. It really is. And also he's very good at seeing the positive and really jumping in and committing to something. And
are you drunk? You must be drunk right now.
No, it's true. And
being very nice.
And for somebody who sometimes, I mean, anyone who becomes an actor, they're not averse to taking risks, but sometimes I'm like, I just feel like, do we really have to? But Sam just kind of makes you go, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll abseil off that cliff. Why not? What could possibly go wrong? So that's the best of Sam. The worst, oh God, I don't know. Well, maybe the worst is absolutely the same. It's just relentlessly positive and
just annoyingly positive.
and it's really good. And God knows it would be terrible if both of us were like that, and it would equally be terrible if both of us were like me. So yeah, it kind of works, I think.
Mm-hmm. And the next question is for you, Sam.
Oh God, well, how long do you have?
Be kind.
I mean, I think the point is Graham is reliable. I think it's like he's reliably grumpy, he's reliably hungry, and actually he's reliably good fun on a road trip. He's absolutely the right person to take on a road trip, and I think that's it. We're like this dysfunctional couple. We're chalk and cheese, and I think that's what makes it so fun. And I wouldn't want to go on a road trip with anyone else. I just have to make sure there's enough whiskey and enough food in the camper van.
Yes, definitely.
To keep him occupied.
Yes,
or we're in trouble.
Close proximity to espresso machines everywhere.
Espresso machines and a fine hotel. Yeah.
That you pay for. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and the Last question is if you've ever visited any place in Spain or Latin America.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Now, alas, I've never been to Latin America. Well, I've been to, no, actually, I've been to Mexico City.
Okay.
I've been to Mexico City. I shot a film there. We shot a little bit in Mexico City, but that's the only place in Latin America I've been. And I've always wanted to go to Latin America. I've always wanted to go to Argentina and Chile, particularly Ecuador. I mean, really anywhere, to be honest. I've always wanted to go. And it's pretty much the only continent other than the Antarctic that I haven't been to. So I've always wanted to go. But Spain, I've been to Barcelona, Madrid, Seville, Girona. Yeah, that's it. But I loved it. Loved it.
Amazing. Yeah. Yeah, I've same. Spain, I've been to, obviously, Madrid, Barcelona. I filmed in Almeria, which is really interesting.
Home of the spaghetti western.
Yes, exactly. On those sets, on the spaghetti western sets.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, incredible. With Clive Russell, who played Clive Russell, who played my my grandfather in Outlander. But I've been to Chile and Argentina and
have you?
Mexico. Yeah, I went in Chile in the Andes. I went up for 7 days on horseback and was sleeping in the Andes, and it was incredible.
You lost? Was it just?
No, and it was a bit like a Clanlands adventure. It was travel companions, but by horse and not by camper van.
Don't get any ideas.
Yes, so I'm beginning to think there's definitely a book there.
Horse trekking.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Yes.
Oh my God.
Swimming in mountain pools, cooking by the open fire.
I'd be up for that. Totally. Totally up for that. Totally up.
Thousands of feet drop if the horse stumbles.
This is something. You do that and we'll publish that book.
Yeah.
Deal.
It's a deal.
Deal.
Perfect.
Chilean adventure. Yeah.
Yeah.
And lastly, is there something that you would like to share or a message that you would like to send to your Spanish and Latin America readers? I'm sure they are really eager to have this amazing book.
Yes, Tierra de CLANES.
Yes.
Tierra de CLANES.
That's all we can say.
No, that's all we can say in Spanish. No, I just hope that it inspires them to explore the world close to them as well, not just Scotland, but the things that are on your doorstep, you know, because I think we often overlook those things and we look further afield for adventure. But sometimes, as Sam and I discovered, that, you know, there's great adventure to be found in the land that you're from. So hopefully it inspires you to do that.
Beautifully put. Yeah. And make sure you take a good travel companion.
Yeah, very important. Yeah, who can pay the bill.
And isn't grumpy.
But paying bills is important. So.
It's very important. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you very much for your time. It's been really, really lovely. We're really grateful for your time.
No, thank you, Christina. Yeah, we really enjoyed it. We can't wait to see it. And I want to see it in real life.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, I can't wait. Please, can we get a copy of that?
Yes, of course. We just got it today, this afternoon. So I'm a lucky one, and I have it.
No disrespect to the English publication, but this is my favorite.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, I love the inside cover as well. That's great.
Yes. As I said, it's such a treat. We've actually hanged a few posters on the office walls, so we'll send you a picture of that.
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you. I love it. We're so happy.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much again.
All right.
Cheers, Christina.
Yes, we'll make sure to send those copies back to you, and
thank you.
We'll keep you posted on the publication.
Okay.
Please do. I hope it goes well. Thanks very much.
Nice to see you, Sam.
Nice
to see you, mate.
Bye.
Bye for now. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.